everybody. Welcome back. This is part two, and this video I'm going to call it Managing Your Priorities Within Time. What does that mean? Well, most people call that time management, but I don't think really that you can manage time. Time marches on, as they say. So what we can do, though, is manage what our priorities are and therefore decide what we do with our time. It's really impossible to manage time itself. So why is that important? Well, our success depends on what we're doing with our time. What we do today is going to dictate the end result tomorrow, and so that's why it's important to, number one, prioritize what we're doing, and within those things that we're doing, what percentage of our time do we give to those things. That's really what I mean by prioritizing time. Okay, so we need to think in terms of investing our time, because really there are three things that you can do with time. I'm sure you've heard the analogy about how having time is like money in the bank, that you get a certain amount and what you do with it is what you do with it. But it's a little bit different because money, you can have a lot or a little time. We all get 24 hours in a day. So there are three things you can do with your time. You can waste it, you can spend it, or you can invest it. So briefly put, wasting time is bad. We all know that. Spending time is good, but investing it is best. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about how to best invest your time, in my opinion. Before I do, though, I want to talk about how people see time, because most people don't understand that the way you see time is not necessarily the way somebody else sees time. What do I mean by that? Some people have the ability to see 20 years down the road. Some people can only see 20 minutes down the road. And the reason why this is important is because whether somebody's training you or you're training somebody, you cannot correctly assume that that person visualizes or sees time in the same way as you. The people who can see 20 years down the road, they think everybody can, or they assume everybody can. It's just not correct. And I'm not saying that one way is better than the other, but I'm saying people see time differently. That's what I want to emphasize there. So, because what we're doing today dictates the outcome tomorrow, let's talk about how I recommend you handle your time so that it is an investment of time. Number one, your week starts on a certain day. For me, I made a decision, and it's not exactly random because most of the world, I think, operates like this, but my week starts on Monday morning. I know that some people say, well, it's Sunday, whatever. My week starts Monday. If yours starts Sunday, make the appropriate modification. So what do? Sunday night, I'll take 20 minutes to put my calendar together. And I've got a little list. I've got a cheat sheet here. So that I make sure that I give you all the things in the right order, and I keep glancing at it. Just like I've said in a previous video, I use these notes to make sure that I hit all my points. Forgive me, I cannot memorize it. I've got way too much to say. So I'll take 20 minutes, I'll plan out my calendar. So what goes in and in what order? And to me, the order is an important thing. Okay, so your most important priorities should go in first. What are your most important priorities? I can't say. But I can say that these are going to be the things that no matter what happens, come hell or high water, this is going to get done this week. It's got to happen. Put it in your calendar. And put in the little things. If you drive carpool, put the carpool in, because that is going to be taking a block of your time probably 5 days a week. Although these days I have no idea how many days a week, if any, kids are in actual school, but you know what I mean. Put it into the calendar. It will be a part of your time. It's an essential thing that's going to be happening. Doesn't mean that it's not subject to change, but you have a pretty good idea at the start of the week how much carpooling you're going to be doing. Put it into there. Okay, so that's what I would call routine responsibilities, which is really the second thing after the I have to get these things done no matter what this week. So the routine responsibilities, put them all in there. If you visit somebody in the hospital or in the nursing home or whatever, a certain day every week or 2 days a week, put it in there. Put everything that you really need to do, that you intend to do, into that calendar. Okay? And let me pause for a second, because using the carpool analogy, you're sitting there in the line maybe 10 minutes a day, 15 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day. I don't know how long, but I've done enough carpools in my lifetime that I know there's a lot of sitting around time. If you've got a smartphone, and most of us do, you can utilize that time more efficiently. In fact, you can count on the fact that you're going to be sitting in that line. You already know that. Now, I'm not going to tell you this is what you do with those 10 minutes. You know what you can do. You cannot do every single thing that you can do when you're sitting at your desk or when you're sitting with a person. But there are things you can do. And if you make a decision, I'm going to utilize that time and therefore be more efficient with my time, then that's investing your time. That is not wasting your time. Same thing applies to a car ride, a long car ride. Listening to music is nice. I love music. It's not my life, but I like listening to music, at least as much as the next guy. But most of the time, I'm going to be listening to an audiobook because I'm not going to read while I'm driving. I don't have a Tesla that drives itself, and I don't really want one. Maybe a little part of me does. But audiobooks are as good as reading as far as I'm concerned. Of course, what you're listening to in the audiobook makes a big difference. I am a big advocate of personal development. I'll talk about that in some other video. And professional development. I think the two are parallel. They do go hand in hand. They're not the same thing. But as you improve in one, you're naturally going to improve in another. Okay. The only other thing I can think of, I know there are more, the only other one that jumps out at me is if you walk your dog. Dogs are not big conversationalists. So you can pop in your AirPods or whatever and listen to an audiobook while you're walking your dog. He or she gets a nice long walk. You get in some time. You get some fresh air. Good thing. Good investment of time. All right. Next is family time. If you have a family, it's important that you spend some time with your family, and there's nothing wrong with scheduling family time. The likelihood is you're going to have more family time if you incorporate it into your schedule. So that's a good thing to do. And again, I'm going to sidetrack for a minute, and I'm going to say you need to build in a little bit of what I call make-up time. I did a whole video at some stage of the game on time management that's a little bit different than this, but it's important because life gets in the way of our plans, because you're going to get a phone call from the school saying you got to pick your kid up, or you're going to get a call from your boss saying you got to do this right now, or you're going to get a call from your spouse saying I need you to do this right now, or I need you to do that at 3 o'clock, or you suddenly have to go to an emergency something. But if you build in some make-up time, that's great. That means you're not going to be off schedule. That was part of your schedule, and you're just going to do something different during that makeup time than yesterday what you did during the makeup time. Because yesterday the distraction came at a different time, or it was a different thing you were doing when you got distracted. So that gives you the ability to get everything done, as building in makeup time. And don't forget about downtime. Don't make this a 24-hour thing. You need sleep. You need recreational time. You don't necessarily have to build in what you're going to do specifically, but make sure that you put it into there. I mean, if you're going to sleep, you can say, I'm going to sleep, but I think I'm the only person crazy enough to put sleep into my calendar. So another thing is power hours. If you do them, and I do, put them into your schedule. Next. I like to do my power hours in the morning before I leave home, before I leave for the office. I like to do that because I know that it's going to get done. And I say that with the understanding that it's not like I've never had some kind of emergency happen in the morning that took me away from the power hour and I had to do it during my makeup time. Okay, that kind of thing's going to happen too. Then lastly, You've got a to-do list, which you may need to, within your own to-do list, you may need to prioritize. It doesn't mean everything's got to happen that week. You know what your priorities are, and as you do this more and more, you're going to get faster at it, you're going to get more efficient at it, you're going to get more productive. So that's good, but it's inadequate. There's an extra step that you need to do, and that is because a week ahead of time, you don't know everything that's going to crop up. Let's say that you've got internet through your cable company, and on Tuesday afternoon, the cable goes out because the lawn guy cut the line, and the cable line's cut, and you can't stand out there holding the thing together. So you call the cable company Tuesday afternoon, and you say, I need somebody to come out here. This is my lifeblood. I've got to have this. And they say, sure, sir, we're going to send a technician out on Thursday, day after tomorrow. Great. Maybe not great. Maybe you want them yesterday. Doesn't matter, but within that week. So now you know that Thursday you need to be there between 11 and 1 or whatever. Does that mean that you are stuck doing nothing, watching TV or something between 11 and 1? No, it doesn't. But it may interfere with what you had planned, your regularly scheduled program. So once a day, like in the evening before you go to bed, spend 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes is an exaggeration. It might take you that long at first, but it's going to be probably 2 minutes reworking or fine-tuning, tweaking, whatever you want to call it, the next day. So you set your schedule up on Sunday night or whatever night you decide to do it for the week, and then every night, except for Sunday night or whatever, you do a little bit of fine-tuning. And that way the next morning you've got a very good idea of what you're going to do from the minute you get up, and you will be more efficient with your time. You will be managing your priorities within time. So that's the gist of it. I just want to throw out an acronym that you may not have heard called GMF. Not called GMF, an acronym, GMF. It stands for Grace, Mercy, and Forgiveness. 3 things you should give yourself and others. You're not going to be great at this if you've never done this kind of thing. If at first you won't be great. Give yourself a little grace. Give yourself a little mercy, and certainly give yourself forgiveness. In time, you're going to be really good at this, and watch what happens with your efficiency. I want to wish you the best of luck. Thank you for watching the video. Have a great day.